Good morning, everyone, or should I say rather good evening for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere in the States watching us live. I'm coming to you from South Africa, from the Sabi Sands, with a fantastic small clan of spotted hyenas that look like they have killed something like a wildebeest here in front of the lodge. And they have been snacking away on what is left of the carcass for about the last half hour or so. I am Noelle van Moden, and this is the second part of our binge series, and it's super exciting to be coming to you. Now, we've also been having quite a lot of baboon alarm calling off in the distance just down the drainage line, so it's possible that there's another predator around, although we have yet to see it. Now, for any of you that watch our twice a daily internet show, these hyenas that we're looking at is the clan of hyenas that used to be on Aubrey's Road, and we had two little ones that didn't survive. They passed away, and then there was a third older one who is still here with this clan. Now, we don't get to see this clan very often anymore as they've moved away, but today we are lucky enough to have at least 4 of them with fat bellies and keeping an eye out for any other predators that might be around. Now, Mr. James Hendry is on the other side of the property from me, and he would like to say good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the second of 5 live nightly safaris. My name is James Hendry and I'm standing here in the African dawn where the sky is turning from indigo to sapphire and where it will shortly explode to ginger and gold. We're coming to you live from 2 jewels in the African conservation crown. In Kenya's Masai Mara, it's a chilly 64 degrees or so. 1,600 miles to the south, where I'm standing in the Sabi Sands, it's a bit warmer at 69 degrees or so. Now, over the next 2 hours, we're going to be exploring these magical African wilderness areas with you, the most important part of any live safari. On that note, please talk to us using the hashtag #SafariLive on Twitter. You can send us your questions and comments. And the first thing I'd like to know from you is where and why you would like to watch the African sunrise, here in the Sabi Sands with me or up in the Masai Mara. While you think about that competition, you should also think about Safari Bingo, which could win you a magical prize for 2. A trip down to Kenya or South Africa with Nat Geo Journeys. All you need to do is go to natgeo.com/Safari Live and learn how to play Safari Bingo. I will announce the winners at the end of Thursday night's show. So that's natgeo.com/Safari Live. Now, in Africa, hyenas are generally dominated by lions, but up in the Masai Mara, there are enormous clans of hyenas. How Taylor, with her leonine mane, has managed to get in with that clan, I couldn't tell you, but she certainly will.
Good evening and welcome to this live safari. Now, you've been spending a bit of time in South Africa, but I'm not in South Africa. I'm in the Masai Mara in Kenya. And we're sitting with a clan of hyenas known as the North Clan. Hello. My name is Taylor McCurdy and I'm very excited to have you out here. I've been out all night long babysitting the young cubs of the North Clan. Now, it is a little bit dark at the moment, as you can see, so we've got our infrared lights on, but soon the sun will rise over the Mara River, which is very exciting, and then you'll get to see the most amazing coloration on these spotted hyena. Now, everything is cool, calm and collected at the den. It wasn't like this just an hour ago. My goodness, I was on babysitting duty. The young cubs were running around and trying to bite my tires and all sorts of things. Now, a great question and a great Twitter handle, in fact, is from I Love Safari Live. You said, will lower ranking hyenas protect their cubs? Of course they will. Hyenas are incredible mothers. You won't believe it. Now, unfortunately, hyenas are very misunderstood creatures. So you can imagine their name has kind of been tarnished, in fact. But they are very caring animals. So they will try their absolute best. Now, this is actually the matriarchal den. This is the main den of the North Clan. There's over 80 hyenas, probably even a few more with all the cubs running around, and they won't be at this den. So the lower ranking females will be at some other spots within the area. Now, we're going to be spending quite a few hours with these hyenas over the next few days, yes, because remember, we have got, after this episode, 3 more safari extravaganzas. So I'm looking forward to sharing the time spent with this clan with all of you. What we're going to do now, though, is Justin had the most incredible sighting a few weeks ago of these naughty hyenas down in South Africa as they tried to steal one of our favorite leopards, Thandi's kill, from a tree.
Look, you see how they've been snatching at it, and that's why it looks like that. That's why it almost looks as though it's been kind of stripped with a knife, is because they're jumping with their teeth and grabbing and trying to get what they need. Now, can you imagine how difficult it must be and how kind of tantalizing it must be to have this carcass just dangling up above you? And it's just little ribbons coming off at the moment, and this must have been going on all night like this. Well, wasn't that just the most fascinating sighting, watching those hyenas jump for that carcass? It was almost very, very macabre. Now, what you can see there is that there's also a carcass hanging in a tree, which we'll get into shortly. My name is Tristan Dix, and we are live in South Africa, and we have a carcass in a tree, which is fantastic news, because yesterday I spent my majority of my day trying to find a female leopard and her cub who have been around this area, and this carcass that we've got here is from that female. She's managed to learn from her mistakes, which is the head that you saw in that clip with the hyenas. That head was the same kill from a female leopard that we're talking about. So Thandi was the one that put that head in the tree, and unfortunately she lost it to the hyenas, whereas this carcass she's hoisted much, much higher, and it is now dangling way above the ground where no hyenas are going to be able to steal it. So she's really learnt well, and she's provided a valuable lesson to her cub. So she's got this little cub that is about 3 months old that is just starting to learn about meat and hoisting of kills. And so when she sees mom taking it up into the trees like this, that little cub is learning that this is how she needs to survive. Now, unfortunately, this leopard isn't here at the moment. We think that she has maybe gone off to go and fetch the cub, to maybe bring the cub back to this carcass. So what we're going to have to do is try and backtrack her and see where these tracks go to and whether or not we can find her with the little one. So super exciting start to our morning. Now, while I go and check around and see if I can find where she is and whether or not she's with this cub, let's send you all the way back to Kenya and the Masai Mara with Brent and another spotted cat.
Look at this, it is pitch black. We're using infrared lights to show you 5 male cheetah in the darkness. This is 100% live from the Masai Mara in Kenya, and we are incredibly privileged to be the only people allowed out in the dark in the National Reserve. Now, the boys didn't get up to too much last night, fortunately, and that means there's an incredibly good chance that they're going to be hunting this morning. The sun's going to rise in about probably about 40 minutes, half an hour. My name is Brent Leo Smith. I have Craig on camera, and I'm very excited to bring you this 100% live. Remember, if you have any questions for us, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. I cannot wait to see what this morning unfolds. My good friend Tristan is also known as the Leopard Whisperer, so hopefully you can have 2 sets of spotted cats in not too long. Now, at the moment, the reason I'm very happy is because some of the heads are up, and unlike yesterday morning, they're not lying in a big, tight puddle like they were yesterday morning. So this means they're more than likely going to get up a little bit earlier than they did yesterday. Now, one is wondering how I can get so close to these animals. Well, one, they are used to our presence. They're habituated to vehicles, and when we're in a car, we're very safe. The animals don't really know that there are people in it. They can't see the individuals, and a car just smells like diesel and oil. And as long as you drive respectfully and carefully, we are able to get really close and spend an amazing amount of time with these animals. I think I've spent nearly 60 to 70 hours with them alone in the last 5 or 6 days, and we've got another 3 episodes to follow these boys on their missions. Now, one of the biggest threats that faces these cheetah is lions, and I've heard lions calling all around us. Oh, listen. There's hyena fighting close by. They could be fighting with lions. You suddenly you suddenly saw all their heads come up. Now, of course, not only lions, but hyena are a threat to them. But lions are the main threat, and they happen to be in an area that is saturated with lions at the moment. And one of the biggest risks to cheetahs, especially cubs, is lions. And even when they're young adults. Now, Jamie is not too far away from where I am with a mother cheetah who's successfully raised 2 boys to nearly 2 years old.
They are nearly 2 years old indeed, and the biggest change in their life is looming large on the horizon. So we're sitting with a female cheetah and her 2 young sons. Her name is Malaika, and her boys are just on the verge of independence. And those 5 males that you saw Brent with could have an enormous impact on the lives of these cheetah as they reach independence. A good evening to you all. My name is Jamie, and it's been my extraordinary privilege to spend time with this miraculous mother and her 2 boys in what could easily be their last few weeks with their mother. Now, we don't know exactly when they're going to go independent, but we know that it is going to happen very, very soon. And when it does, it is just a question of whether or not she has provided them with the skill and opportunity to be able to successfully survive without her help. Certainly it is the case that they are able to hunt for themselves now, but we have seen them on a few sort of unsuccessful attempts in the past. So what we're going to do over the course of the next 4 episodes of this spectacular live safari series is follow the story of Malaika and her 2 boys as she spends those last precious few moments transferring the skills that she needs to do. Now, we have spent a significant amount of time with this particular cheetah, and we've learnt a great deal about her, and we have all warmed, and she's become a firm favorite in our hearts. Have a look at a little bit more about Malaika's life and her background.
This is Malaika, a 7-year-old cheetah. She has raised 3 cubs to independence so far. Her latest brood of 2 sons, now just over a year old, are almost ready to fly the coot. But before that, there are games to play. The older they get, the more risky the capers become. There are also lessons to learn. Cheetah, more than any other cat, have to be taught to hunt and kill by their mothers. What prey size is appropriate? How to trip up their quarry? And how to deliver the fatal bite. A mother like Malaika must be patient and courageous if her vulnerable cubs are to learn the skills needed to survive in the African wild.
Well, what a start to our safari we are having so far. Cats all over the place. Hugely good prospects with that carcass in the tree. Well, not for the carcass, of course. It had a very dodgy night indeed. Now, Kim, Robin and Miss Cruz, you have won my undying gratitude. You say you would like to watch the Sabi Sands. At least you'd like to watch the sunrise here in the Sabi Sands. Well, I think that's a very good option. It's going to pop up over the horizon there in the east very shortly. Now, there are some hippopotamus over here, and these hippopotamus are not migrating hippopotamus. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. An animal that is doing a very short migration now, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, is a leopard. With Tristan, no, we're not going to go across there just yet. Let's have a quick look at these hippo. They've come back into the water after a long night out of grazing. And I'm just going to be quiet for a second and let you listen to the very subtle dawn chorus here. You can hear a heron. Grey-headed sparrow. Chip, 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 chip. hippos breathing. And the red-billed buffalo weavers. Well, as the red-billed buffalo weavers call, we're going to hand you over to Conan, the barbarian of the wilderness. He's out on foot in this dim half-light. Stefan Winterboer.
Conan the Barbarian. I definitely am out on foot, and we've got that hyena that is carrying that piece of meat walking right towards us. My name is Stefan Winterboer. We are in the same place as the rest of my colleagues out here at Djuma Private Game Reserve on foot, and we've got a hyena, spotted hyena, one of Africa's super predators, approaching us with what looks to be half a wildebeest in its mouth. Now, can you believe that it is more energy efficient to carry a carcass to a den site to feed cubs than it is to eat that carcass and then produce milk later? So even though this looks like a monumental effort, it's actually from a metabolic point of view, it's actually a lot easier to do this. Right? Who knows what these hyena are going to do? We're just standing still here. We're just busy watching what this hyena is going to do. It hasn't seen us yet, can you believe it? Even though we're making so much noise. We've got another hyena joining it from the back. Now, this hyena has got a full bed. There we go. It's just seen us. We're putting a carcass down, deciding what to do. Does it leave the carcass and run away and save itself? Or does it put its meat in its mouth and take the meat back to cubs? So we're not going to move. We're just going to stand still. And the reason for that is because there we go. So she's just decided that it's much easier to leave, but leave with the meat, which is a good thing. We didn't want to disturb this hyena to a point where she drops the carcass and then runs away, to be honest with you. So hyena is left off in a southwesterly direction, so that's obviously where the new den site is, somewhere where we don't know where it is just yet. We haven't found it yet. They move their den sites every now and again, mainly because of parasite loads. Ticks and fleas build up in the den site, become overwhelming, and then they move the den site to another place within the clan's core territory. We just haven't found this particular den. But it's good knowing that they've headed off in that direction with a carcass in the mouth. Hyena's not going to make a long circular route to get back to a den with that amount of meat in its mouth. But the good thing is, we're not going to follow that hyena. She's already a bit stressed with us. Obviously, running around with a big piece of meat in her mouth makes her a massive target. But what we have got is we've got a much less scary thing to use. And we've than people walking around on foot. We've got Noelle in the car, and I'm sure she'll be able to stick with him for a little bit longer. So good luck.
This is so exciting. So that hyena, as you could see, was dragging the carcass, and the youngster, the juvenile, was following behind, went right past Steph. This is the herd of wildebeest that I believe that the baby was taken from. That size of that carcass and the way that the rib cage looked is looking like it is one of the youngsters that is mixed in here. We counted 6 the other day. So I have a feeling that there might only be 5 left, but I think you all must take a look. I don't want to sit with our wildebeest for too long. I want to keep up with these hyena. So I think let's carry on and doing that. So exciting. Okay, everyone. Keep an eye out for these hyenas with me. They should be just up here, and I'm pretty sure they're taking us to their new den. Because the other day, just after we wrapped one of our rehearsals, we had the wild dogs, and one of the hyenas popped out from the drainage line over here, and she was heavy. She was suckling. So now I've just looped around from where we had them before. I just need to pick them up again. I'm thinking possibly just in here. I've got Senzo on the back, just having a look to see if he can see them. I can see Steph, so I'm thinking they went down here. Now I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into the drainage line, but I'm going to do my utmost, my very, very, very best. I've got the hyenas, I've got them, they're in front of me here. Here they go, here they're running in front. There they go, running. Here we go, this is so exciting, everybody. So exciting. Look at them going, and they're gonna come down, just like we were saying, into the drainage line. Welcome back live, everybody, to South Africa, to the Sabi Sands. I'm Noelle van Moden, and I'm hot on the heels of these hyenas that had the wildebeest carcass there by the dam. Then they walked past Steph on bushwalk, and now they're heading in a sort of westerly direction down into a drainage line where I'm pretty convinced the new den is. Now, I'm so sorry for all the bumping, but I'm trying really hard to keep up, because if we can find where their new den is, it is going to be amazing. We're going to get a lot more sightings out of these hyenas. We haven't been seeing them often. They also weren't doing very well with their youngsters for quite some time. Now, the other day, after one of our rehearsals, we had a wild dog that came running past camp, came running towards this drainage line here, and then as they killed a scrub hare and moved off, one of the hyenas came out of this drainage line, and she was nursing quite heavily. So I was chit-chatting with James and a few of our other guides and saying, I think that the den is in here. I'm so excited about this sighting. I'm going to try my best to keep up, but we have a very special magic safari live moment we've put together for you, narrated by Scott. I think let's head on over to that and then see what happens with these hyenas.
There they go, they're having a massive fight. This is very, very serious. This isn't easy to... This one has just arrived fresh onto the scene. Could be one queen trying to overthrow another, but to me, I think this is an inter-clan dispute.
Hello, everyone. I've just climbed up onto this termite mound to try and get a vantage point. It's quite a thick area. This is Herbie, an expert tracker, and my name's Scott Dyson. We are moving through an area where we are hoping on finding some other animals fighting. The reason I say that is because this is an area where there's a rogue male that's been pushing in and trying to overthrow an older, more dominant male. And who knows, maybe we will get lucky and find, if not one of them, both of them. Bone-chilling stuff, those hyenas fighting, and definitely the most insane sighting I've ever had. I just heard some noises. It was just some birds fluttering up in the tree, but it gave my heart a little bit of a fright. Devon, now you'd like to know, how do we avoid being spotted by the animals? Well, to be honest, a lot of the times they do spot us. If not that, they'll even sense us with their hearing or their smell before we get to them. But I've got this little tool. It's a sock filled with ash, and this helps us know the wind direction. As you can see, there's not much wind this morning. Very, very still, and good conditions for us to sneak up on prey. Now, like I said, we're moving through this area hoping on finding a rogue male leopard, and I'm hoping he's not pushing up towards where Tristan is with Thandi and that carcass, because that could mean trouble. Anyway, back up to the Mara with Taylor.
Well, how exciting is it that Noelle could potentially find the new hyena den in the Sabi Sand? That's so cool. Now, luckily for us, though, we've got this well-established den of the North Clan that's provided us with great sightings, and everybody seems to be waking up. You can see we're still in infrared, though it's not quite light enough like it is in South Africa. Probably a couple more minutes, and then we'll be able to show you the beautiful colors that are starting to develop in the sky. Now, The hyenas, and I'm talking about the females, the adults here, have been hard at work searching for food all night long. And when we first arrived at the den very, very early this morning, there was nobody home, not even any ears poking out. Well, we sat here for a little bit, and then finally some little heads poked their heads out. And look, this one is coming right up to the car. Hello, hyena. Now, Brent was saying earlier how relaxed these animals are. Hello. And sometimes we're really fortunate to have them come right up. Now, hyenas are exceptionally inquisitive creatures. They're so intelligent, so they can't help themselves but come over and say hello at times. But I'm so glad that everybody's starting to wake up. So there were only a few that came through to feed their youngsters. And I think there should be a few more that should come back, and then that will tongue-tied, sorry everybody. Right, but there we go, little ones are waking up now. So we have a question that's just come through from Keith, and you're wondering what a mother hyena is paid for babysitting. Well, I'm not sure what currency the hyenas are using at the moment. You know, they chop and change all the time. They can't seem to make their mind up. But you know what, perhaps the leg of a wildebeest, maybe a zebra, who knows what they get paid it. You won't believe it. Now, it's a little bit difficult for you all to see. They're going right underneath my car at the moment. Now, that's okay, as long as they don't chew on anything. And I'm just going to poke my head over the side, because I wouldn't want them to chew my tires. Can you imagine hearing the sound as it deflates? That would be terrible. So I'm just going to keep my eye on them for the moment. But I am happy that it's looking a little bit more active here. And I must tell you, there's one special character that I'm waiting to meet this morning. I haven't seen her yet. And her name is Waffles. And Waffles is the matriarch. She heads this clan of hyena. And when she makes her return, my goodness, it is going to be incredible. But we're going to sit patiently and wait for more excitement to develop here with the North Clan hyenas. Tristan is down in South Africa, 1,600 miles away, having the time of his life.
Well, we are having our time of our lives because, well, we found the leopard. So she's sitting in a quite dense, thick area, quite well hidden. So far, we don't see any sign of the cub, but you never know. The cub might pop out any time now and come out of that little thicket that she's in. She's lying not too far from where the carcass is, and we first found her, she was kind of walking through the bush, so I wonder if maybe she was suckling the cub somewhere, and then she's now come and lay up on top of a fallen over tree just to be able to see what's going on. She is a bit obscured at the moment, but hopefully she'll start to move around a little bit and even go up and feed on the carcass. But I'm so excited because we've had a really tough time of finding this female. She's been really elusive over the last few days, and the reason she's so elusive is because we're currently in the midst of a male territorial dispute. We've got this new male that's arrived that's pushing the older dominant male and the father of her cub out, and that means that she's had to move a lot, and she's been very, very under the radar. She's kind of gone into thickets, tried to hide this cub as much as possible, and that's why she's been so difficult. But look how beautiful she is. Leopards are my favorite animal, and I love spending time with them. Look, you see she's looking at the carcass now, so the carcass is not too far from where she is. What I'm hoping is she's going to go up and feed. It is one of the most incredible things to witness, a leopard climbing a tree. So we're just going to watch her come down. I think she's going to hop down. Let's see how she goes. She seems as though she's a little undecided. Jamie, so you're wondering when leopard cubs will go out on their own and hunt for themselves? Well, the thing is that a leopard cub, when it's first born, is that it's blind and it can't really kind of do anything for itself, and so it's very reliant on its mother for the first year to year and a half of its life. Once it reaches about a year old, that's when it will start hunting for the first time and start trying to chase things down. And then once it gets to about 14 months to 2 years, that's when mom will realize, well, you've outgrown me, you are able to hunt for yourself, and will then kind of chase that little cub away, and it will then become independent. But look at those eyes. Aren't they beautiful? She is one of the most beautiful female leopards that I've ever had the pleasure of spending time with. I know this female incredibly well. It's been almost 8 years of following her around, and she's provided some of the most spectacular sightings. So it's like spending time with an old friend, and to see how clever she's been during this sort of uneasy time with this new male, and how she's she's avoided him and kind of moved this cub around has been just such an interesting process, and hopefully we're going to see kind of how she does that over the course of the next few drives. There she goes. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Do you see how effortless it is for a leopard to get up into the tree? It is absolutely incredible. They have the most amazing strength and agility. Now I'm just going to try and reposition, but while I try and reposition, I would like to know from all of you, you can let me know what you think of this leopard and her ability to get up into that tree by using a one-word tweet. So hashtag Safari Live, in one word, how you feel about seeing the beauty of this leopard and her ability to climb. Right, now I'm going to try and reposition ourselves and try and see if we can get a better view on her that's not so obstructed by all these trees. And while I do that, let's send you across to my friend James, the commander and host, who's got a rather beefy friend to show you.
I do have a beefy friend indeed, almost as beefy as Tristan Dix himself. But I've always thought that these hippo are the most wonderful observers, and the stories that they see, look at that little thing now standing on a little island, can't be more than 6 months old, still filled with the joys and lack of responsibility that comes with youth. There we are. I think these hippos watch a huge amount going on here, and I'd love to talk to them about the stories that unfold. And we're waiting here, of course, hoping that Hyena, one of Thandi's brothers, might come along here. He plays a cameo role in Thandi's rather soap opera-esque story. Also hoping that you're going to see that little cub very soon. Now, we also have another friend with us here at the Waterhold, and his name is Ronald. Now, Ronald is a little robot, and his name is very, very important to those of you playing Safari Bingo. And you can see his picture there. He's just getting acquainted with the hippopotamus now. All right, now Thandi is seemingly moving her breakfast, so let's head straight back across there immediately.
Well, she is indeed. She's picked up this carcass, and it seems as though she's going to take it down the tree. Why she would be doing this, I'm not quite sure. Maybe she's going to drag it back to wherever the cub is. But look at this. Watch her try to descend with the carcass. It's a lot more difficult going down with something dangling from your mouth than it is to go up and down just by yourself. But what she's got there looks like a baby waterbuck, and so this is a really good meal for her. And she's eaten quite a bit of it. You can see that by the big fat tummy that she's gotten, and that's really important for her. She needs to feed incredibly well. Because she's got this cub, she needs to stay healthy and full and provide really nutrient-rich milk for the little one. So it's important that she feeds a lot. But here we go, she's coming down. Now you may also notice a car in the background. That's other people that are out here on safari that are enjoying the experience. Now I wonder where she's going with this carcass. She's unfortunately going behind a lot of vegetation. It looks like she's going back to that tree that she was sitting on to start with. I'm just going to go back quickly and see what's going on. Maybe we can get a better view of what she's doing. Let's see here. Now she might go back towards that fallen over tree that's over there. It's difficult to see. Now Sue, you say your one-word tweet was majestic. Well, I think leopards are probably one of the most majestic creatures when it comes to moving around and to climbing and going about their business. So they really are incredibly majestic animals, and I absolutely love watching them, and seeing them kind of go about their business is really very, very special. Now what I'm hoping, like I say, is that she's going to drag that carcass back towards us and hopefully towards wherever this cub may be stashed. I reckon the cub is not far away from us at all, and that it might appear at any moment now. Right, now while we're sitting with this female, she, as I was saying to you, is an older female that I've followed for quite some time, and she's had some incredible encounters, and we've been fortunate enough to witness some of them. And my friend Jamie, who's up in the Mara at the moment, she had one of the most hair-raising encounters with Thandi and her previous cub.
She's running towards the cubs. I just heard them in there. Oh, it's baboons. Oh dear. She's scaring them away. She's trying to chase them away. They're big male baboons chasing her. Oh, there's one little cub. Run, little cub. One little cub has made it into some dense vegetation. We can't do anything. We just have to wait. We just have to sit this one out. That sighting was probably one of the most extraordinary examples of a maternal instinct that I have ever seen. And while we are back live now in the Masai Mara, I was with Thandi as she drew the baboons away from her two tiny, tiny little cubs in the most extraordinary show of strength and tactics almost as she moved them away. It is, I think, a sighting that cemented her as my favorite leopard, I think that I have ever encountered out here. Our mothers of all sorts in the African wilderness face all kinds of obstacles, but while Thandi has around about a 30% chance, if we have to take it down to statistics, of raising her current cub to adulthood, Malaika, she probably faces slightly more difficult odds. Now, female cheetah actually probably only have around about a 10% chance of raising a cub to adulthood. Now let us take Malaika for example. There we go. Now let's take Malaika for example. Now she probably has had around about 28 cubs in her 10 years. Of those 28 cubs, only 2 of them are surviving adults. Now here's the question. When it comes time for the boys to leave Malaika, Dale, you're wondering if they will leave her or if she will leave them. It is a combination of different factors that will play a role. First, the natural independent instinct of the 2 boys will become stronger and stronger as the days go by. And at the same time, Malaika is fighting against a natural biological time. She will come back into estrus or into heat. She will be ready to mate, and any of the males that she encounters, which could include those 5 boys with Brent, we're not far from where he is, would not take kindly to 2 young males hanging around while they're trying to mate with Malaika. So it's going to be an extraordinarily tricky transition for those boys, and during that time they are going to be scared, they're going to be running. Any kind of scent mark from an adult dominant cheetah will be terrifying to them. So while Malaika and her 2 boys perhaps contemplate this prospect, I do not know, let us jump back quickly across to Noel, who is having the most amazing sighting with hyenas.
I am having an amazing sighting, Jamie. Thank you, and I hope you're enjoying Malaika. Just in front, we have a hyena with a carcass, and you've got my head in the shot, so we've got bingo, bingo, bingo. I bet all of you are filling up your cards quickly, and I'm so excited because they've been interacting with each other. We've been getting the whoop, whoop, whoop of the hyenas, and we've got some giggling going on. She is definitely taking me for a ride, that's for sure. As we boondu bash through here. Sorry. I know it's a little bit bumpy, and I'm trying so hard to keep up with her, because if we can find this den, I don't even think you understand how amazing it's going to be, because from the lactation I could see from that female there could possibly be little hyenas like you're seeing with Taylor up in the Mara. Now that den that Taylor has up in the Mara is much more active and much more accessible than the one we have here, so I think let's head on up to her, see if she's got any action going on 1,600 miles north of where I am now.
It is indeed. We're quite lucky, Noel. We don't have all those drainage lines to navigate around. Now you can see we're finally out of infrared. Dawn has broken, but not all the birds have woken up just yet. But at least the hyenas are up and moving around. Now, like we were saying earlier, not all the moms are here just yet. So some of the youngsters are moving around, and I think a little bit on the sad side that they haven't had a chance to suckle just yet. Now, you don't have to worry about those youngsters. They won't go hungry because hyenas have got an incredible fat and protein content to their milk. And sometimes they can go with up to a week without actually suckling. How cool is that? So mom doesn't need to be around all the time. Now, Kim, seeing as though we're here at the main den, you're wondering how often do hyenas change their den sites? Well, when you've got these exceptional clans of hyena like we see up here in the Masai Mara, they're typically a little bit smaller down in South Africa. Wow, okay. Kim, I'm going to get back to your question. What I am going to do is send you across the Mara River to Brent with his cheetah.
Okay, the sun is about to rise and 2 Coke's hartebeest have been spotted by the boys and they are wandering around, and over the last while Coke's hartebeest has been one of their favorites, and the leader of these 5 males, D'Artagnan, has started to stand up, he's started to stretch, and this is a really good sign for us. I was hoping that this is what would happen. They would start getting moving a little bit earlier than they did yesterday. At the moment, they're just keeping an eye on the hartebeest. They probably want them to move a little bit further away. Now, they're starting to groom. This is a really good sign. It's what cheetahs do as they're about to get ready to go on the hunt. They start licking each other, reaffirming the bonds between the coalition. And it's really important for them to do that. That means that the coalition will stay strong and they'll stay together, and enables them to control about 60 to 70,000 acres of territory, making them the most powerful coalition of cheetah in the whole Masai Mara. And what that does is give them access to the most females and the biggest possibility of mating and having cubs. Now, Malaika, not too far away, her boys are about 2 years old, which means they're going to leave soon and she's going to come into estrus, and there's a very good chance that these boys might sire her next litter of cubs. Well, a very good morning to Hermione. Hermione was asking, I thought cheetah was solitary animals. The females, yes, are solitary unless they have cubs. And females, when they leave their mom, will stay together for 6 months to a year. Males, however, form coalitions. 90% of the time, the coalitions are of related males. What makes the 5 boys, the musketeers, so incredible is that they are not all related. At least 2 of them are related. And this is the largest coalition of male cheetah ever recorded anywhere in Africa. So being 5 together, they are able to take down much larger prey like those hartebeest that a single cheetah or even a coalition of 2 male cheetahs would not consider doing. Oh, they are absolutely beautiful. Now, of course, times are a little bit tough because the migration, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, bingo, know what I mean, is not here at the moment. So they have to hunt far more regularly and cover a lot more distance than they do when the migration is here, because there's just a plethora of animals all around them. Now, we're going to keep a very close eye on what these boys get up to next. It does look like they're going to get moving. Are they going to go for the hartebeest? Or are they going to find something a little bit smaller? You're going to have to wait to find out. In the meantime, let's go back to one of the cutest spotted creatures in the Masai Mara, the hyenas with Taylor.
Ah, Brent, I thought you were talking about me and maybe my spots or my freckles. No, you're quite right. The hyenas are incredibly cute, and I hope that you all fall in love with the spotted hyenas over the next couple of days. For those of you playing bingo, I hope that you've checked off hyena on your list, because there are plenty of them around here. We're really having a hyena-filled day in South Africa and up here in the Masai Mara. Now, Kim, I'm so sorry. I will get back to your question now. So essentially it was about hyenas and how frequently they change their den sites. So it kind of just depends. I mean, out here, I wouldn't even begin to be able to tell you how many dens this North clan of hyenas has. Because remember, I said to you in the beginning, there's over 80 individuals, and I don't even know when that count was done last. That's just the most recent information we've got on them. Whoa, careful! Slow down. They're such tough, resilient creatures. So it could happen every few weeks, you know, maybe if a pride alliance comes through and it disturbs a clan or another bigger clan of hyenas, which is possible because there's some clans that get up to 150 members out here, much larger, super clans of hyenas in comparison to down in the Sabi sand. And, you know, that might encourage them to move off and go somewhere else. But there are lots and lots of spots they can go to. Do you know what I have to show you? My goodness, look at the magical Mara sunrise. Wow. That is beautiful. There's even a few birds calling. Wow. Have you ever seen anything so spectacular? Well, I'm lucky to see it every single morning, every single afternoon too, when the sun goes down. And another person that's quite lucky, he's sitting down at Chitwa Dam in the Sabi sand. It's Mr. James Henry, and he's got his favourite friend out.
I'm most impressed that Taylor's able to see the sunrise in the afternoon. I've yet to manage that feat, but she is a remarkable woman, is our Taylor McCurdy. Now, what we have done over here is set Ronald up to go and investigate an old hyena den. Now, Noel is going towards a hyena den, we hope, and with any luck, it will be a little bit like this one. And we're going to drive Ronald into the den and see what he can find. He's got some special lights on the front of him. And, well, who knows, he might discover a warthog down there, he might discover something else down there, he might discover some vegetation or even an aardvark if he's really lucky, and hopefully also he will discover some kind of interesting insect. There are lots of them there. All right, let's start moving him forward. Oh, he's a little bit stuck. All right, this is Safari Live. Exactly what's going on. I think I'm going to have to give Ronald a bit of a hand. I don't think he's going to make it on his own. Let me go back out there. Seems to be a little bit low on power today, does our Ron? Okay. We can go to the drone as well, I suppose. Shall we head up to the drone quickly, everybody? I'll show you the sky cam. Now, what Sébastien Ramby, the greatest French Gabonese Air Force pilot in history, is waiting for is for the golden orb of the sun to pop up there. And as yet, it has not bothered. It may be just behind those clouds. That's due east there. You can just see... it's not quite the explosion of ginger and gold that I promised in the early stages of the show. It's more a sort of very subtle rose colour. There's a little bit of gold on the water there. That's Chitwa. You can see we've come some way from it. And we're waiting now to reveal what Ronald has to reveal. I wonder if we shouldn't do a little practice. I'm going to cut back to Ronald's feed, everybody, just so that I can see what it looks like. Yeah, that looks okay. And we'll go back up to the air. Now, it would be very nice if there were some wild dogs trotting down one of those roads. And all around us, of course, there are these guests from all the safari lodges going out on drive to explore this rather magical wilderness. And for those of you in the US, remember, you can possibly come out here if you listen very carefully to the words that we say today, such as Ronald, migration. Don't think it counts during advert break, though. Not sure. I've probably now sent everybody into a wild flutter. What's he doing? How can he possibly be talking about the bingo in the advert break? Is that us there, Seb? Where are we? Seb can't find us, everybody, but he seems to be able to find himself. I'm coming out of the advertisement break with the drone shot. Sebastian, you're over there, so you need to look east and down. That's it, you should get us now. You should get the cut line. No, you're too far down, I think. Yeah, up a bit. And along the road there. Okay, you're going to have to come forward. Go towards... No, oh no, you're facing west. Look up. Sorry, can you look up a bit to the horizon?
That's twin down over there.
No, yes, so turn around. You need to turn 180 degrees. We've got 1 minute, everybody. That's Chitwa. Yeah, now then that's us there. So come forward a bit. We've only got 1 minute. Keep going. 50 seconds there, you can see us.
Oh, yeah.
Well spotted, everybody. Thanks for your help. Right, 40 seconds, 40 everybody, until Ronald's great reveal. Let's hope he doesn't get lost down there like he did last time. Have to go and fetch him out. It's a terrifying event. I'll let you know that there are so many flies around here, and I think it's because I sat in a puddle of elephant wee-wee during the course of our last segment. Okay, quiet everybody. Here we go, back to television in 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone, to your live safari coming to you from the Sabi Sands in South Africa, part of the greater Kruger National Park, and, of course, the Masai Mara in Kenya. The sun has yet to peep up over the horizon, but it's bright and colourful here in Africa, and it's a great joy to have you with us. There's the sun. Turn slightly to your left, Sebastian. There we are. Now, let us go across to Ronald the rover. He is about to investigate this hyena den. Ooh, here he goes. My, what is that on the right-hand side he seems to have discovered? It's a pineapple. How very strange. It's almost as if someone placed it there. Phew. Well, that's unusual. I didn't know hyenas ate pineapples. Let's have a look a little bit further down this way. Now, a hyena cub will dig itself little shelves on which to sit, and that will keep it safe from water, and it'll also keep it safe from other predators. And you can imagine, even though something like a leopard might be able to stick its head down this far, it wouldn't be able to get down into this hole here. Sally, you say, does Ronald have a rescue rope? Well, I'll let you in on a secret, Sally. I'm afraid Ronald does have a rescue rope because, as you can see him right now, he's stuck. And I will also let you know that I've done this before in a few other holes, and I've had to crawl in there and become covered in hyena muck as a result of it. So, yes, he does have a rescue rope on him for in case. I'm going to go and rescue him right now. Let's go back to a hyena den now with actual hyenas in it. Taylor McCurder is sitting there with no pineapples at all.
Ronald has a rescue rope? How on earth did that pineapple get inside that den? Anyways, I think the Mara is winning again today. Look, the sun has risen, the sky is beautiful, and our hyenas are still having a lot of fun. They're chasing one another around. It's very exciting at the North Clan den this morning. But they're very quiet. Earlier this morning, my goodness, they couldn't stop yakking away and whooping and doing all sorts of other strange noises. Oh, here they come. They might come charging towards us. They're coming back to us again. I love it. I love it that the bravery that they're showing, that they just come charging towards the car, and normally they just go straight underneath it and back out the other side again. Oh no, now they're picking on one. And you can see the adults are not particularly bothered. They're quite happy to just let these little ones play around. Oh my goodness, and one of the younger viewers who's just joined us, Katrina, I'm so happy to have a chat with you this morning. You were wondering if all hyenas have spots. Well, the spotted hyena, yes, has spots. Brown hyena doesn't really have any spots on it, and the striped hyena has got stripes on it, as you can imagine. But there is a point in a hyena's life, Katrina, that a hyena doesn't have any spots on it, and that's when they're just a few weeks old. They're born completely with black fur. They look like little bears, in fact, with their big ears, quite a big nose, very out of proportion, as you can imagine. It takes them a bit of time to grow into their bodies, But these ones now are probably just over 3 months old or so. You can see they're spending lots and lots of time outside the den now. There's one that looks a little bit older, and they've got all the spots developing on their bodies. Look at those big ears. That is so great. A couple of adults just coming through, and you'll see the cubs following after mom, hoping that she'll just sit down so that the little ones can suckle again. This is incredible. We're so spoiled to be out here. Remember, this is live, and if you would like to ask a question just like Katrina has asked, remember to hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. And I hope you've got many more hyena questions, because we don't just have them up here in the Masai Mara, we have them down in the Sabi Sand too. And I wonder if Noel is closer to finding that hyena den.
Thanks, Taylor. I'm no closer to finding the den. This female has taken the kill and stashed it under a tree, and now she's on patrol. She's busy demarcating her territorial area. Now, hyenas, as I'm sure Taylor has informed you, are a matriarchal society. All the females are in charge, and the males are not allowed near the den. So she's been busy going around and pushing out her anal sac, putting a little paste onto the stalks, going to the toilet, and then smelling around. Now, I believe that eventually she will get back to where the den is, but I think first she is going to figure out how to keep predators away. Oh, quickly, let's go to Tristan. He's got another predator for you.
I don't have another predator, Noel, at all, but I do have one of the largest and most incredible animals that you could have out here in Africa. So we were sitting with that leopard where it went into a really thick bush and we couldn't really see much, and we heard cracking of branches, and we decided to come investigate, and we've got a beautiful elephant herd. And you can see there is one young elephant that is being very cheeky at the moment. He's got his ears out and kind of pretending to charge at us, and the reason why is the whole herd is actually a little bit on edge, because there is a brand new baby that is still wobbling. I'm going to try and see if we can get a view of it. It should be just up ahead in the front here. We saw it crossing the road, and it was actually wobbling and struggling to stand, which means that it's less than a few hours old. Just want to try and get forward. Now the problem is one or two of these ellies are a little bit defensive of this tiny calf, so we've got to be a bit careful and not trying to sort of interact with them too much or worry them too much. But there's the little baby there. I can see it now. Hold on, let's just get a little bit further forward. It should come out into the open. Look how wobbly it is. It's tiny. Hello, little one. So this is a brand new baby. It's probably been born, I would say, maybe even last night, because it's struggling to kind of keep up with mom. Look, you can see, look how wobbly it is. So this little one definitely has only been born, I would say, in the last few hours. It's still trying to learn how to stand properly. You can see the back legs are buckling a little bit when it tries to walk, and it doesn't take long for an elephant calf to stand. It normally takes them about an hour or two, and they're walking with the herd, but that one is super small. You can see it's still kind of working out how things go, and it's really under the protection of mom at the moment. Wherever mom goes, this little one instinctually follows and goes closer. Not only do we have a mother leopard close by that hopefully is going to show us her little cub, but we've got a little tiny baby elephant too. Now, let me just try and reposition a little bit, because there is another gap that we can maybe see this little baby. Now, like I say, got to just be careful that mom doesn't get too defensive, but look at that. How cute is that thing? That is as cute as it gets. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is so sweet. Now you see how it goes underneath mom for protection. Now, while we sit with our ellies and see if our little one is going to come out and give us a little bit of a better view, I believe James has got himself into a sticky predicament and is now trying to work out how to get Ronald back.
There's nothing cute about anything in here, let me tell you that. I'm having to rescue Ronald because his string snapped. His rescue rope was nowhere there. There are beetles. There are all manner of great foulness in there, and if I smelt a little funny after sitting in some elephant urine a little earlier, I now smell really horrific. Okay, I'm not going to try that again. I think that's the last experiment we do of that nature. Ronald, hopeless thing here. Now, let us go across to Scott Dyson, Adonis himfoot, the Greek god, standing with something equally as smelly as me.